K9 Boxing. Watch it.
Shout out to my dog, K9 Boxing. Shout out to K9 Boxing. Shout out to K9 Boxing.
Big shout out to K9 Boxing.
K9 Boxing.
K9 Boxing. Always balling. And right now, y'all rocking with K9 Boxing.
Peter Quillin versus JLeon Love. JLeon Love, my homeboy from Michigan, and Peter Quillin, my Christian brother from Michigan, was fighting yesterday or last night, which turned out to be the fight that I expected it to be. I've sparred JLeon Love plenty of times at the famous Crunk Gym, and his style hasn't really changed. He's still a mover, as we would call him, a boxer. So he boxes, he moves. And Peter Quillin was the aggressor in the fight. I figured he would be the aggressor in the fight. And even though he's not the bigger guy, he was the stronger guy. So he pressed the attack against JLeon Love. And Love, he moved and he boxed and he picked his shots, or he tried to pick his shots. And, Peter Quillin won the fight. He was the more aggressor. And, he took the fight to JLeon Love, and I just feel like, styles make fights, as we all know. And with that style, it wasn't going to look good for JLeon Love, or he wasn't going to be able to win the fight with him going backwards and Peter Quillin going forward. So Kid Chocolate won the fight, and people, probably didn't like the fight, because, styles make fights. You in there with a boxer, a guy's a boxer, guy's a puncher. Fan-friendly fights. Fan-friendly fights are the fights where both guys are going at each other. Mike Tyson versus a Mike Tyson, or Mike Tyson versus a Joe Frazier. When you have a boxer versus a puncher, or a puncher versus a boxer, and the boxer is moving, it's not the greatest fight to actually watch. So, Peter Quillin won the fight against JLeon Love. And, not a great fight, kind of lacklustrous, but, Peter did what he had to do to win. And I don't know where JLeon Love goes from here. I know he's doing good with working with Floyd Mayweather, so I'm quite sure he got, like a business going on, and But we'll see what happens. Devon Alexander versus Andre Berto was another fight, that wasn't really fan friendly. Was trying to, go at each other and see who's the best and try to, fight for a title. And I believe that the winner of that fight actually is fighting for the title eliminator, or this was a title eliminator. And the winner will fight the winner between Danny Garcia and Sean Porter. And that's probably why, Sean Porter, he was commentating, he didn't say anything bad, because you might look at it as a fight that he can win, especially with Andre Berto beating Alexander. He fought Andre Berto already and beat Andre Berto, but he has to get past Danny Garcia to even see that fight. But Andre Berto versus Devon Alexander, and in the beginning of the fight, that Alexander was, the busier guy, looked like he was gonna cruise, through the whole fight. And as I was talking to my wife, I was telling him, Berto, he actually fights good against southpaws. And, they was blazing me like, well, you say he fight good against southpaws. I mean, what's happening, So it's kind of had me they had me on a leash, her and my son. But then later in the fight, Alexander started slowing down, as we call it, Alexander the Great. He started slowing down, and Berto, with the experience with fighting against, Floyd Mayweather and some of the other fighters he done fought, he ended up picking it up. He didn't burn himself out, and he ended up getting a decision. I mean, I would have called it a draw, but shouts go out to Berto for pulling off the victory. And Alexander, I don't think he's done on anything. He hasn't been fighting regularly, so he probably wasn't as sharp. I mean, his coach, Kevin Cunningham, was telling him what to do. I mean, but when you're not ring sharp, it's harder to do, what your coach wants you to do when you're not, you're not as busy, you're not fighting as much. But so there you have it. Peter Quillin, he defeats JLeon Love, and Andre Berto defeats the great Devon Alexander.